So is Bill supposed to be on?
Here's how bad it is. Like I said, you're posting videos, you never, pictures, and you never said a word. You got Jack with you.
Huh? Ah.
Okay. Get no break.
I was showing the ad and it was nice, and I was down there and watching the rain, like that. And I took like pictures.
Well, his world is he's got elderly parents there, and it's a lot different.
This is the only time of year he gets to wear a lot of time. Jack is 91 now, and you can see with the newspaper not coming in the morning, it's a problem. You hate to see it, but you know it's major.
We all get that.
I got Maxon's thing over it. But when it came to no, it's one that we just put in. The only thing is, the only rest of the ones that I have, so how do we get good service? So we can't mail it. Instead of putting it mailed to the public and then put the dates on the
Take that home.
Of course, I guess here.
I've done 13, I bought 2 bags of routine and second address, and as far as I know.
That's usually what you do these days. I mean, we're not getting the service.
Yeah. Okay, so call. Yeah. There's nothing on BZA's thing, so I don't know if people are showing up taking that. And if we are, it's not going to be until 7 o'clock.
Andy, that's not what.
They got fire.
I need that count. This was at county fairgrounds, so. Right. The meeting.
I think Bill's wife just disconnected. Because she was standing over it, and the next thing I know, it went off.
He probably went to the bathroom or something. She said, I don't believe his phone.
for this meeting, but for the next meeting. There is a table right there if you'd like. Bill, but I think his wife turned off his phone. Because she appeared on the screen and next thing you know, it was flash.
We're still under an emergency law. We still don't have to see, we still participate in the old rule. So if he calls in, we're good with the quorum. Yeah. Voters know that the president.
I kind of had to do that in the fire department. For a while there, a few years we didn't have any. Oh, y'all. Hey, when you take a break, girl, get to work. Hey, no. Let's you take a break time, get to work. I'll call you something here. Because I
We got two things, hospitals and villages.
I know, that's why I was like, should we do a slow class?
survey and a legal survey.
We see each other.
The judge said you need a legal survey. You get a survey, you think it's legal, that's what we're calling a legal survey.
And the stairs yelling.
You gotta share the city. If you want to leave, you can't tell on the survey, you want a true legal survey. And he'll say who's the legal. didn't know until somebody told me about this call, but I had my truck somewhere. I said, well, survey's sitting there. I said, "Oh, no." You're trying to tell me I need to release the survey, so I have to look what it is, survey. It's survey and legal. No, it's when you said load property to notice, and you put it in two different areas. Welcome to the Grant County BZA meeting for January 3rd.
Yeah.
Call to the meeting and the pledge of allegiance.
Hey, get this set up.
Thank you. May be seated. Okay, Brenda, would you give us a roll call for attendance?
Powell. Johnson.
Here.
Jones. Here. Long.
Here.
Maynard.
Here. Here. Okay, first thing on the docket is approval of minutes, November 15th. I'll make the motion, we accept them.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a roll call.
Johnson.
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Long.
Yes.
Maynard.
Yeah. Minutes approved. Move on to the minutes for the meeting of December 6th. And if anyone has any changes or corrections, you can let that be known this time. I'll make the motion to accept it.
I'll second.
Brenda, would you give us a roll call?
Powell.
Abstain.
Johnson.
Yes.
Jones. Yes. Long.
Yes.
Maynard.
Yeah. Motion passed. Brenda, would you add Ron Powell in attendance?
I have.
Moving on. Do you have minutes for December 15th? Did I skip over those? Okay, December 13th.
They were emailed because they were not finished.
Okay,
I sent out caution.
we'll hold those until next month. All right. There were no findings of fact from the last meeting. Okay, we'll move into public hearings. We have no old business, but we do have new business. Docket 01 BZA V-22 Upland Community Church. Petitioner Terry Collins. Would you take it to the podium? Thank you. You can sign in there with your name and address.
Thank you.
Would you like my address or the church's address?
Your address.
My
Your address.
Yeah, yours.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, Ryan, would you introduce the petition?
Yes, the petitioner is asking to replace the current sign for the church with a similar size sign that is larger than the zoning requirements allowed, which is 8 square foot. The current sign is 8 foot 10 inches wide by 7 foot 6 inches high. They're asking to replace it with an 8 foot wide by 6 foot high sign, which you mentioned.
I did that incorrectly.
This is similar, if you had a chance to go out and look at it, this is kind of similar to the Idlewild petition that we had. It's a like-size sign, but for their zoning only allows an 8 square foot sign. So they are asking to replace and basically upgrade using the same existing space. As far as our review of it, we would give it a favorable recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Collins, would you give us any reasons that you have to support this decision?
Yes, our church sign has been on the property and served us well for a long time. The church property is quite large. Church has been there for 50 years. And the sign itself is important for helping people know that this is a church building and to be welcomed into the facility. The place where it sets is pretty far away from other structures, and like I said, has been there and not caused a problem. The sign that we're putting in it does not have LED lighting. It's not bright and flashy. I don't think that it will at all be a problem for the neighbors, and is actually an upgrade from what we currently have. I think it's going to look nicer than what we have now.
Okay. Do the board members have any questions for Ms. Collins?
Going to be in the same location, right?
It is.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. You may be seated. This closes the public hearing. Does the board wish to discuss this petition amongst themselves?
Is there anyone against?
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry. Is there anyone against this petition? I'm reopening the hearing. If there's anyone against it who would like to come to the podium and speak? Okay, we'll re-close the hearing and put it back to the board. Are there any questions? Okay, I'll call for a motion. Do we have a motion?
I'd make a motion that we approve of Ms. Collins' application for the sign.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion to approve it and a motion to second it. Brenda, would you give us a roll call, please?
Powell,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Manning.
Yeah.
Motion passed. Ms. Collins, we thank you for coming in, and we appreciate that you and your church went through this process. And good luck to you.
Thank you.
Looks like a nice upgrade.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, being the first meeting of the year, we have an election of officers for the BZA, and in the election process, it's a completely open election. There was no secret ballots. motion is made to nominate a person. It needs a second. There is no limit on the number of people that could be nominated from this board, other than the board number itself. But generally speaking, there are not many nominations. If there are more nominations than one, each board member will publicly vote for one person in a roll call vote. And the person who receives a majority would be the new chairman. So the first thing that we will do is open this to board members to nominate a chairman for the next year.
I'll make the motion, we add Hartman.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other nominations? Okay, nominations are closed. Brenda, do we have a roll call?
Powell,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Maynard.
Yeah.
Okay. Ed Hartman will be your chairman for the next year. I accept that position. Thank you. The next officer elected will be the vice chairman, who will preside over meetings if I am unable to attend or am ill or something like that. So we have a nomination for vice chairman.
Rex Maynard, I'd like to nominate Rex.
We have a nomination for Rex Maynard.
I'll second that.
We have a second from Chip Long. Do we have any other nominations for vice chairman? Okay, nominations are closed. Brenda, would you give us a roll call?
Powell,
Well, actually, I'll have to think about that. It's too easy.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Long,
Yeah, I reckon.
Maynard.
Yeah.
All right, Rex Maynard is nominated vice chairman for another year. Have you accepted?
Yep.
He's accepted. It's kind of a foregone conclusion on my part. At this time, our attorney, Mr. Kyle Persinger, will give the oath of office to the new chairman and new vice chairman.
Next meeting.
I don't think they have to, man, so we can do it at the beginning of the next meeting.
That'd be fine.
We'll send down copies, what you'll be signing.
Okay.
Next packet. Got that?
All right, thank you. Okay, at this time, there's an open public forum where anyone from the public can address the board on any issue they wish to discuss. What's that? We have a lot of time, but we'll limit it to 5 minutes per person.
Before we get into the public, a couple of things. One, your BZA appointment will be addressed at tonight's APC meeting.
Okay.
Because you guys are short one.
Short one.
And two, rules and procedure. Do we want to set up another meeting, special meeting to meet?
I'll ask that question of board members. We've had a lot of meetings. Do you want to have another meeting this month as a special meeting? Say in 2 weeks from tonight.
2 weeks is Martin Luther King, I believe. It's a holiday, too.
That's a holiday, so it would be a Tuesday
Right.
if that was accepted. Now, we usually meet on Mondays. We do not have to have a special meeting this month. Like I said, we've had several meetings. I'll entertain a motion from the board if they would like to have a special meeting this month.
If we don't have a meeting this month, will we have another senator?
It'll be the next February, the
Okay.
first week.
Because I'd like for the board to get back to the see one time, and lengthy hours, and, you know, continue
Yes.
talking. I'd like for us to get back on the same track that we were on from the beginning.
Right. Normally, we'd like the hour meeting.
Yeah, so I'd like to make a motion that we do that in February.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion to meet at the normal meeting to discuss the rules, any rule changes for the board. Brenda, would you give us a roll call on that? No, it would be February, the first week. Okay. Yeah.
Howe,
Yes.
Johnson,
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you, Greg.
That's what he said.
okay. Jones,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Maynard,
Yeah.
Okay. Concerning that meeting, and we'll have it on the agenda for that meeting as well. Let's look carefully through the rules and look for things that need to be changed, that if we are in conflict or we need to clarify something with the state. What we have been charged with doing, of course, is writing our own rules. And, you know, we are permitted to make decisions on our rules if they are not in conflict with the state code. And in all cases, we use the state code as the minimum guidelines. We can go above those guidelines as long as they do not conflict. But that's the way we need to look at it. And so next month, let's bring anything that we feel is in conflict with state code. And then let's look at that carefully. And we need to get those corrected as soon as possible. And then anywhere above the minimum state guideline, let's look at that as well. And we may enter something like that in our rules, that we go by state guidelines in the code, the state code, and that is our guiding rule, and that is also our minimum guideline. We need more guidelines, more rules of procedure as well, that we get those added to it. We do have a good set of rules that just need to be improved. So, does anybody have any questions or discussion on that for next month? Okay. And now, last thing on the agenda is open public forum, where anyone can speak who would like to speak on any issue.
Ed, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
the APC
Can you see me
meeting,
though? I can see you guys real well.
if you're wishing to discuss solar farm, that would be the best forum to do that.
Okay. I will wait until then.
All right.
I'll make sure everybody's here.
I appreciate it.
Bill asked a question, but I didn't hear what he said.
Bill, what did you say?
I said, can you see me? I can see you guys this time, and I've done
Yeah, we can
everything
see
I don't know. Can you see me? That's a big question.
Yes, we can see you. Very good.
You look good in those pajamas.
Thank you. Well, I was wondering, I seen the Mills coming in on the meeting, so I didn't know if you guys seen me or not. That's it. That's all we need to say.
Okay, would you give us your name?
Lynn Morgan,
Lynn?
and I just have one quick question. And it's, so Delaware County is talking about putting some solar panels on the county line, the Delaware-Grant County line. My question was, is there anything that the zoning board has to do with the county line?
Is this the farm that's proposed for Gaston area?
Yeah.
We hear it's been approved.
I think they're putting it off a little bit longer.
Okay. That would be a question for the next meeting.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
And probably the answer is if it's in Delaware County and not in Grant County, we would not have anything to do with that.
Okay, but you couldn't, because one person lives on this side of the line, and they're gonna have it right here
In Delaware.
in Delaware.
Delaware, outside of our jurisdiction, basically.
Yeah. Lois asked that explain what the BZA does. And the BZA, one of their main things that they do is they grant a petitioner approval or disapprove of their petition to get a variance from standard. Okay, if the building code has a restriction for maybe the height of the building in a zone, they can petition to have it a little bit taller or in some way a little bit different than what the code states. And BZA will review their petition and make a decision on that variance. We also do special uses, which is referred to as a special exception, where they may petition for, as we saw earlier, a sign which does not comply with the zoning regulation now, but in that situation, that sign had been there for, I think, 40 years, and it had not caused a problem that we knew of, and so we granted a special exception to the church to have a new sign of similar size. Those are the two main functions that the BZA does. Rarely, but occasionally, the BZA may also rule on if someone wants to petition that they are harmed or they want a decision on something the department has ruled on. So if the staff of the area plan makes a decision on something for a resident or business, they want to appeal that decision. Appeals are also taken by the BZA. Those are the main things, and like I said, the last one hasn't happened that I know of in a long time, at least about 5 years or so, or 4 years plus that I've been here.
Read your new general statement.
What's that?
The general statement.
The general, would you like to read it?
Looks like a good.
Sure.
Our general statement from our rules and procedures that we're working on basically says the Grant County Board of Zoning Appeals, the BZA, is a local government body that is empowered by state law to consider granting relief from the requirements of the zoning ordinance. BZA decisions are required by state law to be guided by specific criteria and made based upon facts, not opinions. The primary role of the BZA is to rule on the application of the existing zoning laws as opposed to passing new laws, and therefore is considered an administrative body, a quasi-judicial in nature, per Indiana Code 36-7-4-901, establishment of the Board of Zoning Appeals as part of the area-wide zoning ordinance. The legislative body shall establish a Board of Appeals. So that's our general statement. We worked on that, so
Sure. Okay. Does anyone from the board have anything else? Okay, that will close our meeting, so meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Next meeting with the APC at 7 o'clock.